Welcome to The Top Out, the show where we talk with entrepreneurs and investors about how they got started, the companies they run, and how they see the future. Brought to you by Redpoint Solutions. Today's episode is with Alex Glenn, the founder and CEO of PartnerHub, a community for agencies and SaaS companies to discover and manage partnerships. Hey, Alex, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dana.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. Hey, so I want to start off, if you could just give us a little bit of your background kind of leading up to starting partner programs.
Yeah, definitely. So, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but it's definitely important to know I was an agency founder and worked as a consultant for SaaS companies, and then got into head of marketing, VP of marketing type roles for some big marketplace platforms. And then ran a community that snowballed into partnerprograms.io. And then, of course, running that community, we started to realize that the issue with partnerships, main issue is around communication and follow through and lack of alignment and all these things that some people that have poor experiences with partnerships would say, that's why it just wasn't a fit, and or I thought it was a fit, and then they just kind of fell off the radar and weren't communicative enough. So we said, okay, well, you know what? We think we can, at least explore options for fixing this. And we looked into the ecosystems and the products in partnerships as a vertical, and realized that they were all built for SaaS companies, the tech companies, to find and manage and run their partner programs as like an internal tool, right? So we said, well, I think it's kind of crazy that agencies who are, at the end of the day, the ones working on the software and presenting it to their clients and servicing the software, why isn't the partnership platform, the management tool, the PRM, built for them? Mm-hmm. And then we said, okay, well, that's interesting. What if we look into doing something that's specific to agencies, and not even that, but productizing the partnership workflow and productizing the partnership day-to-day sort of business activity of partnerships, and making it so simple that the agency doesn't need to even think about what's next. So, you're nodding your head, you're in PartnerHub, you're dealing with it, and you understand what I'm talking about is a situation where you may start a partnership with a new CRM and maybe they don't have all their ducks in a row, and neither of you really know what you should be doing and what you can do to make sure that you're both getting ROI from the partnership. So that's some of the stuff that we productize in PartnerHub, is that sort of, here's what to do. Here's who your partners are. If you need more partners, the app will suggest partners that sell to the same customer profile. And the greatest thing about it is both users are using PartnerHub. So imagine if your Salesforce instance or your HubSpot instance, imagine if your customers were actually using that as well, and you just had a quick connection to them. And the fact that they're in there managing their customers in the same CRM, and those two are connected, you guys have much easier communication. A lot of those issues that the agencies mainly express to us, all of those are kind of solved for because both users are in the same place.
Was it that experience running the agency that kind of gave you the idea for PartnerHub?
It was actually one of our agencies in our community. So they posted something about a year and a half ago. It's a HubSpot partner. And she said, does anyone have a good solution for finding and managing partnerships? We've tried, she mentioned she tried a couple PRMs. She tried using ClickUp. She even tried using HubSpot, but none of it really worked. And she was asking us if there's a purpose-built tool for agencies to find and manage partnerships. And we said, no, of course, there wasn't. And then we raised some money from some top agencies, as well as some channel leaders, a pre-seed round of funding that allowed us to build out version 1. We're in version 1.9 now. We're up to 500 users, and it's new, but it's starting to kind of make make a lot of people really excited about partnerships, and they're starting to really manage partnerships more effectively, and it's working. Our hypothesis, our product hypothesis is working. It's proven correct.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of different sort of partnership management softwares out there, but none of them had any community component to them. They were all sort of about calculating like referral fees when you have 1,000 different SKUs and some super enterprisey thing. PartnerHub is really like a community-driven business. I'm curious about what's your experience been like sort of building and operating a community-driven business versus a different model like a SaaS business? Do you have to approach things differently?
Oh, totally. I mean, you think about the user architecture in PartnerHub. I mean, you have 3 user types. 2 of those user types can find each other and match with one another and create sort of that bridge, right? And then of course, they're all in our real community, our actual community, which they are learning to build partner programs. They're learning to be a better agency. There's workshops and networking and all sorts of stuff going on. So to answer your question, 100% on the product side, the mentality is totally different than building sort of a per user single instance. Like it's just me and I put data inside of the product, and maybe it does some stuff outside, but it's really just me using it, maybe a couple of my team members, and everybody interacting with me through that product lens is not actually in the product. So I really think I'm bullish on the idea that, to succeed, at least to succeed at any sort of scale in the future, you got to be partnerships and community led. I think just part of my sort of strategy when I was VP of marketing and just running consultancy, sort of client stuff, I would enter a vertical and I would look around that vertical through social searches, Twitter, Quora, and I'd find out who the key players were in that vertical that are thought leaders, that are digital agencies, that are even some tech brands. And I'd kind of consolidate all that into a list. And then I'd start sort of getting content flowing out to the places where those people are. But then I would sort of network my way into their calendars and figure out what we could do together to expand their thought leadership, but also make me guilty by association. I want to be next to you, because if I'm next to you, everybody's going to perceive after some time, a very shorter period of time than if I was just out there by myself. They're going to perceive that I'm also a thought leader or a subject matter expert. And that if I take a brand with me into that, that strategy, then of course the brand succeeds. And I think if you are just a founder building a software, you can get a lot of users getting just building a great software. I do believe that it takes a lot more time and a lot more money. If you start with a community like we did, you build your tribe, or partners, or just, hey, I know you, you know me. And when I come out with a product, you're going to at least check it out. Then, your ability to ramp user bases goes up. It becomes way less expensive, I think, is the major draw. And then not only that, you're going to have problems with the product. There's going to be bugs. There's going to be issues, version 1 issues. If those people are not in your community, they're going to bounce out of your product, which they probably would either way, but you'll never hear from them again. You can't loop them back. You can't bring them back in. So having that community allows you to be a little, it allows you to make more mistakes and be okay. Right? Our version 1, I think you were in version 1.5, Dana, when you came in. It wasn't great. It had bugs. There were things that you ran into probably. It was latent. It had slow load times on certain pages, right? It was probably frustrating. We've since fixed most of those, and now we're in a really good, stable version. But, you may have bounced out in the version you were in, and if I didn't know you and we didn't have a Slack connection or a community connection, I'd never hear from you again, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the things I've been really impressed with Partner Hub is the quality of some of the content. Some of the webinars I've just been kind of blown away by, which I can't believe I'm saying because I've spent years, ignoring or rejecting every invitation to every webinar I've ever been invited to. But there's some really great stuff in there. How do you think about balancing scale and then the quality of the experience, or controlling the quality of experience and making sure that it doesn't get either diluted or just degrade as you guys start to scale?
Yeah, no, that's a big challenge right now that we're dealing with because, as as a founder, it's like you kind of have to fire yourself from different roles. And if you don't have someone that can do that as well as you, that whatever it is going to suffer for a period of time until that person gets good at it. So the one thing I haven't been able to fire myself from is, leading these workshops, because I'm like you, I go to a workshop and it's super fluff, high level stuff you can't take action around. And the tough kind of hard hitting questions aren't asked, and the moderator's just pretty much promoting whoever they're interviewing. And it's really just, it's just a promotion more than an actual workshop, right? So ours are very much workshops. We get very actionable, action-oriented experts in a certain subject matter, and we drill into a specific thing that they can teach our community to do in 30 minutes. And then we open up to questions, and we get really, really good content out of that. And me being someone like you, I wouldn't let anyone come to our workshop and present a 30-minute sort of pitch on their product or anything like that. I make sure before the workshop starts that they understand, like, it's not about you. It's about whatever you're bringing our community in the form of education and action. Yep. And we spend a lot of time prepping the workshop. And then afterwards, we roll these up into courses, these mini courses that you see in the community as well. So we have courses on agency profitability, raising prices, and sales and mergers and acquisitions stuff. We have all sorts of service-based courses as well. So part of our system is, which I'll get to the main answer that you want there, but part of our system is, we want to draw people into the community first. So we're not out there just spraying links to Partner Hub. Mm-hmm. We create a workshop, or we create some content, or we create something with someone like you. And then we draw new agencies or new tech users in through that funnel. They usually start in our communities, and hopefully they really like the content. They really like what they're looking at. There's links to Partner Hub in the side menu. And then, of course, once they join our community, they get an onboarding drip sequence, which includes options to join Partner Hub. And it's really just a matter of time before they join at that point. And what's, like you mentioned, what's great about that system is we're not just leading with, hey, here's a product, either join or don't join. We're saying, you need this training if you have an agency. Someone on your team needs this training. Let's just figure out which person on your team needs it. And then, of course, oh, by the way, there's Partner Hub. If you have partnerships, or if you want to start partnerships, here it is. And then, like I mentioned in the beginning, one of the things I'm having a tough time figuring out how to do is take myself out of the community event sort of system. I don't think I'll be out of it anytime soon, but it takes either a really savvy person like us to kind of sit there and say, I'll take over that. And right now we're just so product focused that we're hiring on the product side, we're hiring on the engineering side. So I won't be able to hire the right person to kind of take my spot for probably 6 months or so.
Yeah. I think that I think any community like that scales successfully needs some sort of moderation or champion function. I don't think you can just sort of set up the systems and the incentives and then let people run wild with it. If you look at probably some of the biggest communities on the internet, on Reddit or Discord, they all have very, very active moderators and very clear community guidelines. And then looking at other, I've been a part of so many different sort of Slack-based communities and different communities online that don't have that function. And they always sort of fall apart, maybe not in a super negative way, but it just loses focus and people sort of lose a sense of why they're there. I want to switch gears a little bit and ask you more about the team at Partner Hub. Do you guys have an office in Chicago, or are you fully remote?
We're fully remote. At one point, there were two of us in Chicago, but not anymore. Now, every single person, except for our dev team, are in a different city, and we are very global. We have our dev team are based in Buenos Aires. We are building our dev team there. We may have an office eventually. So they're all there. That's been awesome for us. But then from there, everybody else is in either a different state or a different country.
What's the experience been like running? I don't know if this is your first time running a fully remote company, but was that forced by COVID, or was that something that you just always were going to do anyway?
Yeah. Oh, always going to do it anyways. And I do appreciate having an office. It's great. It's fun. But when you look at cost benefit of it, man, it makes recruiting hard. You have to deal with obviously people being sick and not making it to the office. And then you have to deal with whether you pressure people to be in the office or you make it a 4-day week. And then if you do make them come to the office, you got to deal with, reimbursements for bus and travel and stuff like that. And yes, tons of benefits, but obviously I'm just not, I believe, we need to kind of be focused and focusing our money as well as just our ability to be flexible. That's kind of
main. I'm fully with you. I have a really small office at a WeWork in Denver, but we're fully remote at this point, and we have employees and full-time contractors and part-time contractors and a whole mix of people that are in different continents, different countries.
Yep.
And we just learned how to do it. We were sort of forced by COVID, but we're probably trending in that direction anyway. I see it as a huge advantage. Like, you can keep your overhead pretty low and have access to just a way larger pool of talent. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other aspect, talent.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a no-brainer. I want to ask you about your experience fundraising this year. So you said that you guys closed a pre-seed round. Is it sort of open? Like, can people keep participating in it, or did you do more of like a?
Yeah, well, this is the beauty of fundraising. It's like the way it works these days is most SaaS that fundraise, they either have the model that they're fundraising, or they don't. If you have the model that you're fundraising, you are always open to investments right now. And then it just depends on what type of investment. Right now, we're only open to strategic capital. So if you are a hedge fund or a private equity firm or even a lot of different VCs, we wouldn't be open to your money. But our round right now is growing every single week. We have just today a new agency founder that used to run a department at Big Commerce, booked a call. He was referred. Someone told him, I think they're open to private investment or strategic capital. And we had a call. He was very, very intrigued, very interested, and he's probably going to put in, 10, maybe 15K. And that is always on the table for us, or at least it's on the table for now till our next round. And then we do a formal seed, or call it a Series A round. We're still open, but it's just a new type of money. And then that new type of money may have a different minimum check size, since we're trying to get to 2 million or we're trying to get to 5 million, right? But yeah, we are very open to strategic investment. We love agencies and or SaaS people that really understand, like, in order to grow an agency, partnerships should be a part of that. There's a big pain point. We see a big opportunity. And then on the SaaS side, either knowledge of partnerships in general, like having experience, or just very bullish on the idea that, SaaS growth requires partnerships and can be almost like, cheerleader. Yes, maybe you have some referrals to bring in with them, and also have just some really good advice being in those industries. So yes is the short answer. Strategic capital is the type of money. And we haven't formally closed our pre-seed round yet. We're about 600K into our pre-seed round. And the original sort of close of the pre-seed round was around 700K. So we'll probably move into a seed round probably in September. We'll start our seed round. And then the seed round is based on our paying user growth, and that's on the tech side. So you are an agency, you don't see a paywall in PartnerHub. It's free for you. On the tech side, they have a free account, and then they have an upgrade option, and they can choose to upgrade.
Has the recent downturn in the public markets and sort of like the correction that's happening in private markets, I don't know if it's fully trickled down to like seed or pre-seed yet. I'm sure it has. Has that affected your strategy from a fundraising or operating perspective? Are you guys pushing for revenue faster than you would have otherwise, or has it not affected you?
Yeah, the word on the street for companies in our shoes raising is just like, raise whatever you can raise right now. Raise as much as you can raise whatever you can raise. We're not quite there, meaning, if some, I don't know, some very wealthy businessman from the Middle East wanted to come over and just write us a $100K check and reduce our valuation a little bit. I mean, we have to sell it to the other investors. Like, why are we letting, this person in? What is it doing for us besides bringing us the money? So we're not that, eager for any type of money, but for sure, if it's a strategic check and they're sort of in agency or SaaS world, we should and will probably take it. You just have to come in at the valuation that we are currently at, that everybody else is in at. And as long as you're comfortable with that, of course, we do take it. The climate right now is definitely all money, both private investment and VC or private equity is harder to get, is more expensive, I guess you could call it. People want to negotiate on valuations. When we started this round last summer, it was not difficult to get money. I'm just being honest. I'm not being egotistical, but we were not having any trouble getting people to write 20, 50, 100K checks. Now it's like, I'll write you the 20K, but I want to negotiate that valuation, which we're not able to do. So
if you're doing safes, I mean, it makes things easy, right? It's just, here's the safe, 10, 20K check, and it's all standardized. Send them a card, a link or whatever.
Yeah, we are in this product called CapBase. Definitely shout out. They do your corporate documents, set you up there. Then they set up the cap table and allow for multiple rounds of funding and document storage and all the great stuff there. Reporting, tie into your bank account and tie into your accounting software, and it's way cheaper than Carta. It costs us $700, I think, a year.
Cool.
I think Carta was trying to get me, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000, something like that. Yeah,
for sure. I want to mention, I love this little video that you have on your website specifically for investors, where you basically just lay out like, here's the business, here's who we're trying to raise money from, here's who fits the profile, here's who doesn't fit the profile. How much time do you think that saved? Was that a pretty good filter for?
Yeah. Which one is that? Is that the one on our homepage, or did you go to the actual investors page?
I think it's on the homepage I thought it was on PartnerHub. It might've been on Partner Programs. And there was like a little button over the video that said for businesses and for investors. I just thought it was really clever. Like, I can imagine that probably weeded out a lot of crappy meetings.
Yeah. Oh, that's a product. Shout out to Typeform product. It's called Video Ask, and it allows you to kind of record multiple videos for different personas, and then you can select on screen which persona you are. And then at the end of that, I can send you to a landing page. I can show you a calendar embed, or I can have a form that you can add your name and info to. Yeah, that's on our main website, our corporate website. It's called partnerprograms.io, if you're listening.
Very cool. You guys seem to do a pretty good job of leveraging video and LinkedIn and social. Is that something that was like calculated, or is that something that was just very natural to you? Do you think that more founders should be putting themselves out there more on places like LinkedIn? How do you think about that?
Oh, I believe so. I mean, I think there's definitely a balancing act, but some of the best founders I see, and I know some of our investors as well, they're very prevalent on Twitter and LinkedIn. So if you're in B2B SaaS, Twitter, LinkedIn should be somewhere that you should have a voice. You should have a lot of impressions, connections. You should be branding yourself, because I think a lot of people, users, of products, it's like they can stick with a product because of sort of what the team is doing and, what the founder is talking about, and kind of want to be a part of something more than just be a user of a product. Not for every product. Some products you just, it works. I don't care who's on the team, whatever. But products like ours, especially community-led products, definitely the founder should be talking about the industry and talking about the key pain points of potential customers on Twitter and LinkedIn, and have answers, not just say stuff that's socially acceptable or anything. I mean, that's par for the course, but have actionable content, have advice for your ideal customer persona. And then people will get into your product by way of some of your social posts. I mean, I think probably 50% of our users, new users, come in through our LinkedIn presence, either an event or one of my posts. I saw you on LinkedIn. Yeah, at least every other phone call that I have.
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, I want to move into some rapid fire questions, and I think we'll close out with these. So the first one, was there an aha moment where you knew when you were building Partner Hub that you were onto something?
Yeah. So Partner Hub. So aha moment for us was, the first aha moment was our early adopter users, version 1, really terrible version, are writing us checks. That was a very big sort of feather in the cap. Then as we kind of started promoting it and people started getting in and inviting users, the next big one was one of our agencies invited 200 partners. That was planned on the product side. We built the product so that you can bulk import your partners. And then it was a matter of, okay, well, are they going to bulk import their partners? We'll see. And then once someone did it, it was like, okay, we're starting to really click here on the product side, meaning they're comfortable with the product and they trust the product. And then the third one was users became employees, became team members. So one of our top agency users loved us and the product and the vision and everything we were doing. He asked if we could join the team, and it was a fit. We needed help, and we hired him. And then I'd say the fourth was people wanting to work for us just by seeing what we were doing. People coming to us wanting to work for us, right? Especially on the engineering side. We get engineers on calls based on, they saw stuff we were doing. I just had a UI UX lead reach out to me saying, I love everything you guys are doing. I'm fully employed right now, but if you ever need anyone, I'd happily join. So that's the fourth, is just people wanting to work for you. If you're having trouble recruiting, you got to look, inwards a little bit, look at your presence online, look at the people internally and what they're doing online, and just say, you know what, we're not doing enough to market ourselves really as an organization that people should work for, and then we need to change that.
Yeah, sure. Can you give us an example of a partnership that came together on the platform that you think is like a really good sort of like symbolizes what it's all about, or sort of illustrates the value?
Yeah. So, I really like the idea that, we built Partner Hub mainly because agencies were struggling with partnerships. But then what we didn't really anticipate enough was how much agencies like to partner with each other, agencies to agencies, right? So you would partner with maybe a HubSpot implementation agency, RevOps agency, and you get all their Salesforce implementation referrals, right? That is a much more lucrative and valuable partnership for you than maybe Salesforce is, because they're actually bringing you business and they're doing it regularly. and you send them business. Maybe you get an inbound for a project that you don't want to deal with, or maybe you're too busy, or you don't have the expertise to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have a partnership for that, you go to the marketplace in Partner Hub, you type a search, or you use the filters. My favorite one is this filter that we have for area of advisory. So you're call yourself a development or an implementation, CRM implementation shop. You can find what we call front end traffic driving agencies that are working on bringing website traffic. And then we have other ones like data analytics as a area of advisory. And you can just find every agency that sells to mid-market. You can select mid-market as a filter, or enterprise, or SMB, and sells to that size of client, and then sells a different service set than you, a different area of advisory. And then just reach out to them and say, hey, I saw you were doing design. I saw you were doing database and data architecture stuff. We have clients that need that stuff and we don't do it. Let's partner. Let's figure out what to do. And then you get on a call and you find out maybe something else that you didn't even know. And you met someone and you guys are tied together inside Partner Hub, which is killer. And you're able to really just expand and grow that partnership. So just having agencies come into our ecosystem through different reasons, but then getting together inside Partner Hub and formalizing a lot more agency to agency partnerships, inviting their agency friends. I mean, that's been really awesome for us, seeing that work.
Yeah. Next question. If you weren't running a tech company, what else would you be doing?
If I wasn't running a tech company, I'd probably be head of growth, head of marketing. I really did enjoy that for some of the marketplaces that I worked on, as long as the product is killer. But I'd probably be doing the head of marketing or head of growth role at some of the awesome marketplaces out there. That, or if I wasn't if I wasn't a CEO of partnership based platform, I'd probably still be in partnerships in some way, shape, or form, and trying to show the tech companies out there that you can do partnerships earlier, and that you can and be a little bit more one-to-one with these partnerships, and look at it through a different lens than I think a lot of tech companies are looking at partnerships. So whether that's a consulting role, whether that's a full-time role, one of those options.
Awesome. And last question, do you have any advice for people who maybe have an idea about a business, or they want to start a business, but they are scared to start, or they don't know what to do? They don't know how to start.
Yeah, I'd say, and I used to advise this all the time, I get Clarity calls. I don't know if you know clarity.fm. It's a marketplace where you can book minute by minute experts in different categories. So I'm an expert in B2B marketing and partnerships, and I used to get a lot more calls from entrepreneurial type stuff, people wanting to launch a business, a marketplace. I still get those, but I've kind of changed my profile so I don't get as many of them. But I get a call that was like, hey, I have a great idea for a two-sided marketplace. And they'd pitch me the idea, and I'd say, okay, well, do you have a community built around this affinity topic? So pick out an example, a two-sided marketplace for home services like Thumbtack, right? And your big selling proposition is, you allow users of your marketplace on the buying side, the buyers versus the sellers, to maybe contract the platform, which comes with a bunch of hours, and you can order a plumber one day and a window washer the next, and whatever, it doesn't matter. But I said, okay, well, what is the pain point you're solving for, A? And they're saying, well, people need plumbers. And I say, no, I mean, why would they come to you versus Thumbtack or whatever else? And they'd say, oh, well, we're, more flexible and cheaper and this. And I say, okay, well, what you need to do is go gather everybody that's having those pain points up into either a newsletter or a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group or something. Get them all to buy into the message. And this is a good litmus test. So do I have a good idea? The message you're offering is, are you struggling with affording this home services that you need? If yes, follow this group. And what you can do in just that group is talk about it, get others to talk about it, but have some value. You need something to bring them into the group. So maybe go to the home service providers locally and get coupon codes, get discount codes, get stuff like that you can exclusively feed through your community. And start with a local area, Chicago, start with a suburb, whatever, and really get a tribe built. And what that will do is prove that the pain point is big enough for you to be able to go to market successfully. Mm-hmm. Then B, the big one is number two, it allows you to have a built-in user base for when you're ready to launch. And then number three, or C, it will give you the almost like the product proof of concept, where you have the community, they're talking about these pain points and how they're dealing with it. They're mentioning that they were frustrated with this. That frustration becomes something that you need to build product around. So what we're doing is productizing partnerships. What we advise, anybody wanting to build anything at all, start proving the concept in a community. Make sure you're documenting the pain points and the needs effectively, and you're rolling out a product that fills those needs, right? Solves those pain points.
Perfect. I love it. Alex, thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Appreciate your time. Where can people find you online and find PartnerHub?
Yeah, so partnerhub.app. PartnerHub spelled how you would think it would be spelled, the way it's spelled. We have a registration mark we just got on PartnerHub. I'm pretty excited about it. So
nice, congrats.
Hopefully you won't see any others pop up. But partnerhub.app, not .com, not .io. The .com we may have shortly as well, but .app. And then and that's where you'll see links to the communities in the footer. And then also, of course, join PartnerHub. There's links to just set up your account. And you can create that at app.partnerhub.app. App.partnerhub.app is where you build your profile, your account, set up your team, and start partnering.
Awesome. And follow Alex on LinkedIn also.
Yeah, if you put my LinkedIn stuff below this, I don't know where you're going to post this, but yeah, LinkedIn profile, tag me, whatever you need to do. Follow me on LinkedIn and reach out, say hi, and what partnerships related stuff is interesting for you, and I'll get you pointed in the right direction.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you, Alex. Thanks for coming on. I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dana.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Top Out. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see the next episode, please follow our page on LinkedIn or subscribe to our YouTube. We'll see you next time.